All right. Welcome back to the 10th episode of the Social Made Simple show. I'm your host, Ryan Chasen, and today I am joined by none other than the just listed social product specialist, Dan Black. Dan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm excited to be here. Glad I finally
Awesome.
got the call up.
I know everyone's just like, when am I going to be on the show? And I'm like, I don't even decide that.
My lucky week.
So when I started out in content and then transitioned over to doing more things on the biz dev side, I pretty much learned all my preliminary things and tasks and responsibilities from Dan. So it's definitely just interesting to see, how both of our roles have kind of played out. But I'd love to start with just getting a brief background history with you. Even just all the way back to school, and just how you came to work for Social Made Simple.
Sure. Yeah. So I went to school for political science, and for the first maybe year or year and a half, 2 years after graduation, I worked for a political software company that does like voter outreach efforts as well as fundraising and compliance stuff. And that was great. And then this opportunity came beginning of 2019, I think February or January, I came aboard. It was originally in a supporting role in the biz dev office, working as Social Made Simple kind of moved away from the singular small business market into the franchise marketing space. And over the months and years since then, I've kind of bounced around to a couple different roles as we've filled out the business development office. As you mentioned, you joined. Over the last year or so, been between concierge, franchise stuff, and now I manage the sales and marketing outreach efforts for this just listed .social product. And it's really great to see that just our success in general has allowed us to really fill out this biz dev office and let people take different roles and places throughout the different verticals that we work in. So it's exciting to see in real time how that stuff grows and develops.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's one of the great things about Social Made Simple, just all of us having the ability to be versatile in our positions, and play to our strengths, and even, just find, these new exciting opportunities to take hold of. So, I think it'd be great to then segue into, what your current role just entails and, what your day-to-day looks like, because I think sometimes, and just for everyone's knowledge here, there is Social Made Simple, which is, our more, full suite of services, marketing company. And then just listed .social is essentially what we call, either like our sister company or sister product that was developed specifically for real estate. So I'll let Dan take it away from here.
Sure. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I am in charge of outreach to mostly large customers and partners for this just listed .social product. And I think we'll get into the specifics of the product and how it works a little bit later. But just generally speaking, it's a real estate lead generation solution on social media. And those customers and partners that I mentioned, they include but aren't necessarily limited to large real estate brokerages, large real estate associations, media companies, tech companies, and sometimes even individual agents or smaller teams, as they're called in the real estate space, who are looking for a solution on social media that actually provides leads rather than just either filler content or impressions or views that they're good, but they're not really meaningful and they don't drive results or business. So it's definitely an awesome product. And as you mentioned, it is branded on its own. So we like to say just listed .social powered by Social Made Simple. But yeah, it's a great product, and I'm really excited to jump into it and hopefully explain it to some people that might not be familiar with it.
Yeah, and I think again, for everyone else's knowledge, when the company was founded, it came from a mortgage perspective and a real estate perspective,
Right.
seeing this need For social media, just being able to connect with their audiences and just seeing that social media was on the rise. So it's definitely interesting just to see, how it stemmed from just this one need into becoming, a full service company and product.
Sure. So as I mentioned, just in a large kind of general sense, JustListed.social is an automated lead generation solution for the real estate industry. As I said, it's very unique in that it's a lead-driven solution, unlike many of its competitors, which are more focused on impressions and views and kind of less meaningful metrics as it relates to driving revenue and lead conversions. There are two main, I guess, verticals or buckets that the JLS product operates under. I'll go over the first one, which is listing ads. These advertise a specific on-market house listing via automated lead capture ad placements on Facebook and Instagram. Agents or brokerages have a choice to advertise the listing as either just listed, just sold, price change, or open house. And it's a very simple and streamlined product in that the agent simply has to input the MLS number of that specific listing on our order form, and our automation will build an ad and serve it to Facebook users that best fit our proprietary likely mover profile. And as you mentioned, this company kind of came from the real estate and mortgage worlds. So we've been doing this lead gen solution in the real estate world in one form or another for almost 10 years. So we've built a ton of proprietary data that we use to put together so that we can most effectively target those users who are more likely to either buy or sell a home on Facebook. And as I mentioned, we use Facebook lead capture technology, which is some really awesome stuff. Essentially what it does is that when we capture a lead by serving them that ad on Facebook, we are able to take their validated contact information directly from their profile, pre-fill it into the lead form, and then when they do submit that, they don't have to, type out their name, they don't have to type out their email, all that cumbersome stuff that everyone just kind of types through. All of it's taken right from their Facebook profile and then emailed to our client directly in real time. In addition to that, we'll also set up our clients with what we call a campaign status page. And essentially what that is an aggregation of all the leads that we've generated for them, just put into list form. So, it's a simple landing page that we create that's essentially, for lack of a better term, it's like an Excel sheet that we host for them that has all that confirmed contact information. So I mentioned we have two main verticals. I just went over listing ads. The other one are agent ads, and the technology really works mostly in the same way, but rather than promoting a specific listing that the agent wants to promote and generate traffic for, we are promoting their services as a whole. So that's a great service to find. It's a great service to use to find prospective buyer and seller leads, just in a general sense. So, we see great success with both of them. Typically, I like to suggest agencies and brokerages to buy a agent ads subscription, which will go month to month, as well as, maybe 20 or 30 or 40 prepaid listing ads that they can just hand out to their agents as listings come on the market.
Yep.
So, there is a little bit of overlap, but there is also a little bit of a distinction between the two sides.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it definitely makes sense. And I think especially from a brokerage point of view, where they're able to really, manage all their listings, in one convenient place, I think that really just helps them just be able to scale the product even. And just talking about how, they're able to then, leverage everything that we've been doing. Like you said, all that proprietary data that we've been able to use over the years and just be able to speak on, when talking to, new brokerages, even just on the singular agent level as well. So, and of course, we have been doing this, like you said, for a very long time. and we've also had some very good longstanding partnerships. So I'd love to have you kind of speak upon those, because you had a really big hand in a handful of those.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, and as I just mentioned, we work with some of the largest real estate associations in the country, specifically the California Association of Realtors and the Florida Realtors. Um, these are great organizations that have a pretty sharp focus on membership development, which is where we come in. Essentially, what we do is, depending on the partner, we either put on bi-monthly or even quarterly webinars to their members, in which we teach them both about social marketing as a whole, the environment, the landscape, the changes, as well as educate them about our product and how they can use them to, increase their business, generate leads,
Hmm.
so on and so forth. And I do find it, pretty meaningful to get the chance to showcase this product to these memberships, as most of the individuals within those organizations are individual agents. They're small business people. They're not kind of like mega corporations. Um, they're regular people just earning a living an honest way.
Yep.
So it's pretty gratifying to help them power their business with such an effective tool. And I really do enjoy that aspect of what we do. Yeah, so I think the viewers here might think that I'm a broken record when I say this. This might be the third or fourth time I've said this, but we generate leads, and that's something that a lot of the other solutions in this space don't do. They'll
Hmm.
try and get you the most inflated, ridiculous amount of impressions or views that pretty much just means nothing if you can't get a lead from that.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that that's obviously a huge and major distinction. As I said, we capture contact information and send it directly to our clients in real time so that they can do direct outreach as soon as possible. Um, if you have a boosted post that gets 10,000 views but you get no contact information, that's just kind of, you're lighting your money on fire, so to
Yeah.
speak. So I would definitely say that that's the biggest distinction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what would you say is just and I hear about this too, so I'm curious to get your take on it. What do you think is the biggest misconception that, individuals from the real estate industry have about social media?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think my answer is the same across all industries, not just the real estate industry, but I think it does particularly relate to the real estate industry. I think most people who aren't, I guess, involved in social media on a professional capacity, they get the sense that, well, two things, I guess. First is that social media is just kind of like fluff. Like
Hmm.
it's filler content that you put out on a
Sure.
Facebook page to, they show someone's, monitoring the Facebook page. They're active on the
Hmm.
site. You come across a brand that hasn't posted since 2016. Like that's obviously, no one's home. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So it's a good, people think that it's a good filler to show that you're around and you can answer questions and stuff. But in reality, it's a super, super powerful advertising medium that you can serve ads directly to your desired audience, which is really, if you take a step back and think about it, massive. I mean, who doesn't have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Like everyone has a Facebook page, like, right? So the audience is there, the targeting mechanisms are there. I think it really is the perfect tool to power your business. And a good distinction earlier is that, in order to use Facebook, you have to have a profile that's verified with the contact information that's verified in order to log in with an email address and
Hmm.
sometimes a phone number. So it's not just, you're serving ads to people searching Google who, can stay anonymous or stay unknown. And then I think the last, I guess, common misconception about social media that I like to point out is that because so many people have personal Facebook pages and personal Instagram pages, that they get a false sense of expertise on the platform as it
Hmm.
relates to actual advertising. I mean, most people can write posts and post articles and updates on the business if you're running a sale or stuff like that. But to
Hmm.
actually effectively target people through the advertising tools that exist, you have to have some sense of expertise that's legitimate there, and almost professional in a sense. Um, so, I think people try their hand at it. They get frustrated. It can be pretty cumbersome and confusing, and then they move on to other things. So
Hmm.
when you come to a team like us, we've been doing it for 10 years. This is what we do. We're pretty good at it. We have awesome tools and technology that we use to generate these leads. So, I think those are the two main misconceptions that I've kind of gathered in my, almost 2 years doing this for
Yeah.
Social Made Simple and JLS.
Yeah. And we have a great team behind it, obviously.
They're certainly making it interesting, aren't they? Uh, I'd say the schedule is unfavorable
Hmm.
going forward, but it's tough to count out Bill Belichick. Um, that's not a man I'd like to bet against too many times. So
Yeah. Yeah,
fingers
I would definitely
crossed.
agree. I think it's definitely going to be interesting, and I'm sure everyone else that is not from the New England area is just
I
going to
was gonna
back
say, I
us
think
for
we
this.
just all the good we just did discussing our
But
product, we just threw all that goodwill away by talking about the Patriots.
I mean, hey man, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dan, thank you again for joining us today. I hope everyone has been able to get a little bit more insight from Social Made Simple and Just Listed Social and what we've
Yep.
been able to do in the real estate industry and just a variety of verticals for the digital marketing world. So if you'd like to check out the other episodes, please go through our other social pages, be it LinkedIn or YouTube, to see the full episodes. And of course, if you ever have any other questions or want to discuss further with us, you can always schedule a call on our website, socialmadesimple.com. But until then, we will see you folks next time.
Thank you, Ryan.